Hello students, in our last lecture we studied about AC voltage applied to a inductor. Now here topic number 7.5 is about AC voltage applied to a capacitor. So now in place of inductor, here it is capacitor. This is the source. Now considering the circuit to be purely capacitive, and then similar process which we have applied for the inductor. Students, in our first lecture we have connected resistor between these 2 points. Then in next lecture we connected inductor, and now we are connecting capacitor. So we have studied about the purely resistive circuit, purely inductive circuit, and now it is purely capacitive circuits. So many things are similar. So now let us start with the source voltage. It will remain same. V is equal to Vm sine omega t. Let us give this equation number 1 as usual. Students, remember same thing we have done for resistor as well as inductor, because source voltage is not going to change. Now once again same thing, applying Kirchhoff's loop rule to this circuit. V, source voltage, is equal to voltage across capacitor. But we have studied in chapter 2 that voltage across capacitor is given by Q by C, where Q is the charge deposited on the plates of a capacitor and C is the value of capacitance. Now comparing equation 1 and 2. Once again students, look here, both the equation. This is first equation, this is second. So we can compare both the equation. V is equal to Vm sin omega t here, and here V is equal to Q by C. So we can say that Vm sin omega t is equal to Q by C. So same thing we have written here, that Vm sin omega t is equal to Q by C. Making subject Q, we will get C into Vm into sin omega t. This C is brought here. Now differentiating this equation on both the side, on left side we will get dq by dt, and on right hand side these two terms they are constant, so they are taken out, so remained d by dt of sin omega t. But dq by dt is I, current, and here when we differentiate sin omega t, it will be cos omega t, but omega is a constant here, so applying that chain rule we have to multiply this constant, so it is here. Rest of the things are as it is. Students, remember that when we integrate according to chain rule, this omega is divided, but here it is differentiation, so this omega is multiplied. Now cos omega t can be written as sin omega t plus pi by 2 according to rules of trigonometry. So now writing cos omega t is equal to sin omega t plus pi by 2, we can write this equation as I is equal to Vm upon 1 upon omega c sine omega t plus pi by 2. Now students, you must be wondering that why we have written this term in this way. See, this is clear that cos omega t is equal to sine omega t. For this we are clear now. Now just look here, Vm and omega c in this equation. We have written this term like this, Vm upon 1 upon omega c. Can we write this like this? Because once again, if you simplify this, you will get the same thing, omega c Vm. So in place of this, I have written this type of term. So we have written in this way. Now students, whatever the term is here will be nothing but it is maximum current that we have studied in earlier topics also. So now this is not new for you. So denoting this term by Im, we can say that Im is nothing but it is Vm upon 1 upon omega c, which is nothing but it is amplitude of this current I. Amplitude means its peak value or maximum value. Now students, if we compare this equation with Ohm's law, we know that I is equal to V by R. So there is similarity between these two equations, but here it is resistor and here it is related to the term having capacitor. But the function of resistor in resistive circuit is same as the function of this term, that is 1 upon omega c in this circuit having capacitor. And so this term is known as capacitive reactance. In earlier section for inductor, we used the word omega L as inductive reactance. So here this is capacitive reactance denoted by Xc. Hence, now this equation can be written as Im Vm upon Xc. Students, unit and dimension of this capacitive reactance is same as R. That is, its unit will be ohm. Also, I have mentioned this thing, the function of Xc in a capacitive circuit is same as that of R in a resistive circuit. Now, if we compare equation number 1 and 2 for V and I, it is clear that here the current I leads the voltage by phase pi by 2. For inductor, it was current lagging behind the voltage, but here the current is leading, it leads the voltage. Remember students, in case of inductor, here in this equation it was minus pi by 2, here it is plus. So as it is plus, current leads the voltage. If it is minus, then current will lag the voltage. Now you can see this phase diagram. This is the phase diagram, and this is voltage and current versus omega t. This line shows V and I, which changes according to time. And here this is a phasor diagram. So always we used to take voltage starting with 0. We have seen that when only resistor was connected, current also starts from 0. In case of inductor, current started from this negative value. But now for capacitor, you can see current starts from here. That means when the voltage is 0, current is having already its value. It has some value, means current is leading. Current is ahead of voltage. Similarly, in phasor diagram, you can see, we know that we used to consider the rotation in anti-clockwise direction. So at time t1, when the voltage phasor is here, at that time current phasor is here and making angle 90. 90 means pi by 2. So current is leading the voltage by phase pi by 2. So students, I hope you understand. Now I have written here, as shown in figure A, at time t1 the current phasor I is pi by 2 ahead of the voltage phasor V as they rotate counterclockwise. Counter means anti-clockwise. Now figure B shows the variation of voltage and current with time. Which figure? This figure. This figure shows the voltage and the current varies according to time. And this is the phasor diagram. Now students, current I reaches its maximum value, as I said earlier from this figure, that current I reaches its maximum value earlier than the voltage by 1/4 of a period. Students, phase is pi by 2. Current is pi by 2 ahead by the phase, but with respect to periodic time, or in terms of periodic time, it is 1/4 of t ahead than the voltage. Now power in a capacitive circuit. Students, we have studied power in a resistive circuit. We also studied power in a inductive circuit. Now we will find power in a capacitive circuit. Let us start with the instantaneous power. Instantaneous power denoted by small p. Here symbol C in subscript indicates that it is a capacitive circuit. So power in a capacitive circuit. I into V. What is I? We know that I is Im cos omega t, and V as usual Vm sin omega t. This is fixed value. Always it will remain same, because we are considering voltage this only in all the cases. But when the capacitor is connected, the current will be Im cos omega t. From equation number 1 and 2. Let me show you. Equation number 2 I is equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2 can be written as cos omega t. See, it is here. And equation number 1 is this for voltage. Now this amplitude of current and the amplitude of voltage, they remain constant. That is, it is a constant value. So these are taken out. So what is remaining inside? Cos omega t and sin omega t. Now students, applying trigonometric formula, which we have also applied for circuit consisting inductor, that is in our previous lecture, same formula we are going to apply here also, that cos omega t into sin omega t is equal to half of sin to omega t, half of. So this 2 is here for that. Now this is the instantaneous power. Now if you want to find the average power denoted by capital P, then we have to take the average of this. We know that constants are taken out from the average. Constant means they do not change, and so they are taken out. What is remaining inside the average? Sin to omega t. But we know that sin to omega t, or if it is cos to omega t, then it will be 0. Average of this for one period of time is 0. So this value is 0, and 0 into anything is 0. Hence, we can say that there is no loss of power in a purely capacitive circuit. Students, why this happens? It is because we know that the source voltage oscillates in this way. So for first half cycle, if we consider that the capacitor gets charged, so in our next half cycle we can consider that capacitor is discharging. During the charging process, capacitor takes the energy from the source, and then when it discharges, it gives the energy back to the source. So there is no loss of energy or the power. Now example number 7.3 does not have any mathematical steps, so I'll explain you directly, as well as example number 7.5. Even it does not have any mathematical steps or calculations, so I'll explain this directly. But before that, let us take example number 7.4. Given in the statement of this example that a capacitor is connected to a source and its value is 15 microfarad and the source voltage is 220 volt. This is the RMS value. Capital V indicates RMS value, and its frequency is 50 Hz. And here we have to find the capacitive reactance, RMS value of the current, and the peak value of the current. Also, we have to answer that if we double the frequency, then this case, here it is 50. Now if we double that frequency, then what will happen to these values? That also we have to answer. Now first of all, we'll solve for the A. Students, we know that capacitive reactance X is 1 upon omega C. We have obtained this formula in the theory part. But what is omega? Omega is 2 pi nu. C as it is. Now all these values are given. 2, value of pi is 3.14, frequency is 50, and value of C is 15 microfarad. So micro means 10 raised to minus 6. After calculating this, you will get capacitive reactance 212 ohm. Now current I is equal to V upon XC. Students, in Ohm's law we know that I is equal to V by R, but here the circuit is having capacitor connected to it, so there should be capacitive reactance in place of R. Voltage is given, and this XC we have obtained here. Calculating this, we will get current I is equal to 1.04 ampere. Then maximum value of current. Students, this is RMS value, that is root mean square, and so relation of I and small im is given by this equation. This we have studied, because we know that IRMS is maximum value upon root 2. So if we make the subject Im, then we'll get root 2 into I, and so this equation. Now value of root 2 is 1.41. I we have already obtained, it is 1.04. Calculating this, we will get maximum value equal to 1.47 ampere. Now part B. What will happen if the frequency, new frequency, is double the given frequency? So students, in that case, what will happen? So students, as this frequency is double than the earlier, we can multiply 2 here, because it is twice of nu. So this original value of Xc will become 1 upon twice of omega C, because already we know that this is omega C and this 2 is here. So it is half of the earlier value. It is 1 by 2 of this value. So we can say that the new value of capacitive reactance is half. Then about current. Earlier current was given by this. Now this capacitive reactance becomes half. So this 2 can be kept here. That means new value of current is equal to 2 V upon Xc. We can write this like this. But what is this? This is nothing but it is the equation of current which was earlier. So that current is now double. Finally, let me show you here that when the frequency is doubled, capacitive reactance becomes half of the earlier value and new current becomes double the earlier value. And so finally we can write that when frequency nu is doubled, capacitive reactance becomes half and current becomes double. Now explanation of example number 7.3. Students, here given that a lamp is connected in series with a capacitor. Predict your observations for DC and AC connections. Also, we have to answer that what will happen in each case if the capacitance of the capacitor is reduced. So students, first of all, when the capacitor is connected with DC source, this is capacitor and this is the DC source. We know that voltage of DC source remains constant, and also we have studied that when the DC source is connected, current does not flow in a circuit. Simply the capacitor gets charged. When the capacitor is charging, for that particular moment some current does flow, but that is for a moment, and so after that the current does not flow in a circuit, and so the lamp will not glow. Suppose the lamp is connected here. This is a lamp. So to glow this lamp, current is required. But when the DC source is connected with the capacitor, current does not flow, and so the lamp will not glow. But students, it may happen that initially when the capacitor gets charged, for that moment this lamp may glow. It will just glow and stop. It may happen. But then it will not glow, because now the capacitor is charged and the current is not flowing through it. But when AC is connected with a capacitor, and if this is a bulb, then what will happen? We know that AC means it is alternating current. So here the current will constantly flow in forward and backward direction, and capacitor will charge and discharge continuously. So in that process the current does flow, and as a result the bulb will also glow, because capacitor allows the AC current to flow. It will not allow the DC current to flow. Now what will happen if the capacitance of the capacitor is reduced? It is clear that for DC source there will not be any change, as the case was earlier, that the lamp will not glow. But for AC, as we know that capacitive reactance Xc is equal to 1 upon omega c. So in that case, if the value of capacitor C reduces, then Xc will increase. You can see they are inversely proportional to each other, that Xc is inversely proportional to C. So C decreases and Xc increases, and as Xc means it is a capacitive reactance. If the reactance of the circuit increases, then current will reduce. Reactance increases, so current I will reduce, because we know that I is equal to Vm upon Xc. So this increases, current will reduce, and when the current reduces, the bulb will glow less, or it will shine less than the earlier case. So here it is written that. So students, I hope you understood this. Now example number 7.5. Here in this example, as shown in circuit, a bulb and a open coil inductor are connected with a AC source. You can see there is a bulb and a coil. Coil means it is an inductor. They are connected with a AC source. And what we have to do now, or what we have to find here? Here it is given that when the switch is closed and after some time an iron rod is inserted into the interior of the inductor, means an iron rod is introduced inside this inductor, the glow of the light bulb will increase or decrease, or will it remain same? That we have to answer. So now students, it is clear that the current will definitely flow when the switch is on. Current will definitely flow from the bulb, and so the bulb will glow. Now when the iron rod is introduced inside it, the self inductance, or simply inductance L, will increase. When the material is inside the inductor, it will increase the value of L. Now we know that inductive reactance XL is equal to omega L, and so when the value of L increases, inductive reactance will also increase, and so current I is equal to V by XL. So when XL increases, current decreases, and so when the current is decreased in a circuit, the bulb will glow less, or it will shine less. So students, remember that we have studied in chapter number 6 that when the material is introduced inside the inductor, its inductance increases. Now students, this on this page, these things are only for information. I will advise you to just go through the figure and these statements which are written here. Quite interesting to know about how the capacitor behaves when the AC current flows through it, how the process of charging and discharging of a capacitor takes place. that you will able to understand from this. Also the same thing is given for the inductor also. You can see how the magnetic field in an inductor changes when the AC current is flowing through it. So that is explained here.